Hello viewers, I hope you're well. Let me start by introducing myself as Erica Mukisa Kimani, aka Mama Maisha or Mami Zion. Today I still want to continue talking about the spirit of the age. There is a spirit of the age that wants to rule, and that is the spirit of homosexuality. And the devil is so determined to promote this evil agenda. And he's using celebrities, comedians, journalists, people in positions of influence. I want to encourage parents to be mindful of what their children are watching. Don't just look at a man acting funny in a dress and think it is funny. No, it's not funny. They have an agenda. They are promoting homosexuality in schools. They are promoting homosexuality in homes. Watch the kind of novels your children are reading, because there are some books that are training your children on how to masturbate and how to become gay. There are some videos I'm going to leave for you to watch and realize that actually homeschooling is the best right now for us in Africa. If you want to keep the family culture, please endeavor to spend some time with your children. Endeavor to instill moral values in them. Endeavor to teach them the ways of God. Parents, spend time with your children. If possible, homeschool. Come together as parents. Pay some teachers to come and train your children from home. Escort them to go and sit for their final exams. But be mindful of what your children are being taught, because in schools, that's a breeding ground for your children. You don't know what they are being taught in schools. As you watch in these videos, I hope that you get enlightened. I hope that you know God will guide you on how to prevent your children from being initiated into the spirit of the age. Kindly keep me in prayer. Kindly keep us in prayer, because as we expose this, the enemy is not happy. But we are not here to please him. Stay blessed. I love you, but Jesus loves you more. I remain Erica Mukisa, aka Mama Maisha.
My son committed suicide, and he committed suicide on my veranda, and my two small children are the ones who found him. And they kept telling me, Mami, come and see, kuna game mbaya chichi anacheza. And it was a Sunday evening and we had just had supper, and I thought that it was just one of his antics because he was a difficult boy. He became very difficult after he failed his Form 4 exams. And so finally, when they kept going and coming, and I was in my room. When I went outside, I found my son hanging on my veranda. And the most wicked sight in my life is to see his tongue hanging almost up till here. Because he had... I screamed and I climbed up immediately and I collected him and I put him down and I rushed. I started calling his sisters to take him to hospital. So we rushed to hospital, but when we reached there, the hospital told us that nobody actually was doing anything. They checked it. I told them to put him on oxygen because he was lacking oxygen and his fingers had become gray because there was no oxygen. That usually happens after 2 minutes or about 6 minutes of lack of oxygen in the body. So I walked out and I just went and I told God, God, please help me. Please help me. So when I went back, they were not doing anything. I asked them, why aren't you doing anything? And then it just dawned on me that actually it was over. And as it was over, there was no need for oxygen, and there was no need for anything else. And so we had to wait there until we reported to the chief, reported to Embakasi police, and wait until about 3 o'clock when the police vehicle came to take my son and put him in a vehicle car and take him to the mortuary. That is the most wicked, hateful thing that you'd ever need to see. Youth, Hakuna kitu ngumu sana ile huwezi kuongea. There is nothing so hard that cannot be discussed. Whether it was sexual violence, which I came to discover that he had been sodomized, whether it was bullying in school, whether it was peer pressure, whether it was failing his exams. So when he failed his exams, first of all, his knowing depression makes you have all the symptoms that are mentioned in that paper. All of them, he had them. He would come to the sitting room, he's dressed in his underwear, he doesn't care, he doesn't come out of bed. So I used to insist he comes and eats with us. He doesn't want to eat with us. And so they become very difficult when depression hits. So recognize, please, when somebody starts shutting down, there's a problem. This boy had grown up as a very healthy, loving, fun-loving boy, full of love, full of laughter, full of jokes. But something happened somewhere along the line, and he just started withdrawing. And I kid you not, within 6 months, he had committed suicide. Youth, I want to tell you, you know, you can think that you're the one in the problem. There's a place you will reach, you will be unable to pull yourself out again. So before you reach that pit, before you reach that bottom, please ensure that you have talked to somebody. Please ensure that you have shared with somebody. There's nothing too hard. There's nothing too hard. The Bible says there is nothing new under the sun. So anything that you're going through is not new. It has happened to somebody else, and it can be solved. We buried my son, but now the after effects are the worst, because now I kept blaming myself. What didn't I do? What did I do? I tried to be as supportive as I wanted. He refused school. One day he just said, "Mami sirudi hiyo shule," and that was it. I had to look for another school for him to go to. And when he went to another school again, then he refused to attend lessons. And then he attends exams, and then he's shocked that he fails his exams. And so when we showed him his results and he came home with the results, he couldn't believe it, and that's when he started going downhill. So the sisters, his sisters, my children, all tried to encourage him to do other things. You can't sit. Do you want to go to driving school? Do you want to go to college? Do you want to draw? Because he was a very good artist. Do you want to draw? What do you want to do? We'll do it for you. He says, "Bado siko tayari, bado sijajua, I'll let you know." Then that day, he hung himself. But what it has happened, the after effects, is that thereafter, I'm the one who hit depression. I couldn't believe, I couldn't think, I couldn't eat. I couldn't think. How do you bury a 20-year-old son? A boy with mandevu? Somebody, how do you bury your son? Just how do you bury your son? In August this year, we went to fix his grave. And there's nobody who feels the pain apart from a mother, apart from a brother, apart from a sister. Nobody feels that pain. You might think that you're in a pit, but you're not. There is always help. I want to thank the government for making mental health a priority, because we would have lost so many. When we were going to collect my son that day, we were so many parents. We left at 5 in the morning because we were going to Siaya. And I tell you, 6 parents were there because of suicide. 6 parents. And those that were in there that were waiting to be collected the following day, some were being brought in. We cannot lose youth for something that has got a solution. We cannot lose you who have got the energy to build our country for something that has got solutions. I beg you to engage with the processes that are available for us, for the options that are open for us, and please, so that you don't hurt your parents also. Because even when you go, the pain remains with us. The pain remains with the sisters, the pain remains with the brother, and the stigma that is associated with suicide. I personally don't care. I personally don't care what anybody thinks about me. And that is why I said that just to honor my son's memory, I will speak about mental health. Thank you very much.
imagine a bishop as a homo. He comes with his homosexual partner to minister to the sheep. But your pastor is a lesbo.
Sometimes it becomes quite hard to listen to, particularly when Pastor Semper starts doing his impression of a gay man talking.
We're equal, just like you. Just like you, you're equal. You marry, I marry. You have children, I can have children. No, you can't have children. But I can adopt.
Well, Pastor Semper, that was quite a performance.
Well, thank you, thank you. I consider it a duty to make sure that we get the word out. Although I regret that you may not be used to such long services, I sometimes kid that we may qualify for the Guinness Book of Records for the longest church service.
Can I be honest with you?
Yes.
I haven't heard so much hatred in a church for a very long time.
What particular do you find?
Hatred for homosexuals. The way that you imitated their voices, the way that you obviously had a real hatred in your heart for people that were different from you and what you thought was right.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
I'm surprised you found my voice hateful or my opinion hateful. As a matter of fact, we consider homosexuality a sin, and we do not tolerate sin. It's an evil. So I don't celebrate homosexuality. If you were thinking you would come to a church where homosexuality was to be celebrated, I regret you came to the wrong church. That is what's gone wrong with the church in England. The church in England has gotten to the point where they are allowing homosexuals to marry. We cannot understand the madness, how an archbishop or a bishop could get to that level. It's a taboo. And I think what you've seen here is the difference between our culture, between Christianity. The Christianity of Europe celebrates homosexuality, celebrates gay pride. They are out to march along with gay pride. We can never march with gay pride. That is an abomination. We could never do that. And God says to us, do not tolerate evil. So I've shared with you 4 stages.
Can I just ask you,
Yes.
why are you so obsessed with homosexuality? Why not about other sins? There's all sorts of other sins. What is it that really disturbs you and makes you full of hatred?
You know what I find is when you have a prime minister of England deciding that he's going to use his position as a prime minister to export sodomy in the rest of the world. When you have a president of the greatest republic in the world, America, using his pulpit and his funding to export sodomy, do you expect us to keep quiet? I think it's completely unrealistic for you, Mr. Simpson, to think that we should bury our head in the sand. We mourn for Europe.
It's nonsense.
We mourn for your grandfathers who brought us Jesus. We mourn. We mourn. We see a race that will not be there. Europe is taken over by Arabs. Muslims have taken over your country. Your children starve themselves. You laugh about it. You don't want to talk about this.
This is nonsense.
You come over here and condemn us. We weep for you. What can we do for you?
I don't know, you can...
We beg you.
This is nonsense.
Abandon sodomy. It will not take you anywhere.
This is an act.
You've never seen me. I weep every time I talk about sodomy.
But this book, for example, it's perfectly normal. This is a book that is actually geared for 10-year-olds and up. 10-year-olds, that's 4th grade. This is a sex ed curriculum. There is horrific images in here. America is just losing its mind.
Right.
It's just losing its mind. It's lost its values, and now it's lost its mind. This book, this is a printout from a book for 8th graders. And so 8th grade and up, and it talks about how parents should be encouraged to have sex in front of their children, that they should, breastfeed and have sex at the same time in front of their babies.
No, you're kidding me.
This is just sick.
This is Wilson Kabushenga Kakuru. Ngena nyenda kubereka akantu kubatangarizaho akanikamanitsa cyako. Anikamanyisa cyako. Omwangazima pena tumango mwanganzi mahati ibitingwa nibikakosa nibikusanka kamanyiso kabo. Homosexuals and gays, the gay community uses this as their symbol. Ngeni tuba chief code ekatandikaho kandi emerire ahanyikiza y'Kristayo ebyo bitokoze bitakabikiriza mebi. Ngenu honest na na nyamishana honest na tukwasa bebe baturetira mu chief code. Ebitingwa babitabure rwigirgona ejinikana yebitinga twena ntikimanyi. Ngira ngo nimbabira Bishop Hamlet twari kugamba ngwe bitingwa nguno yinerwe kwasiye bitambibire kutiragambe ngo abashije batukireme bitokoza bye bitingwa muhakana twinanyikiza y'Kristayo etali mu kitokozi cyona mwatureta me bitokozi tubyanjiri ngeni mwabina abana babojo no kiza ngo mwojo abyamwe no mwojo mutabano wawe abya akwate no ndije mwojo atandike kuyama nawe omusha byamwe no mwishi nibyo ba honest na natukana na erina bari kutongoze bari omwangazima ejinikara yebitingweji ayi ngira mwayerebera kuri kugamba ngo ne mirimo nebindi ne chief code turebe bagisi ebitingwa homosexuals. Why are you imposing a culture that is not ours on us? Why can't you people respect our culture? Take away your whatever you want to believe in, but we have our belief, we have our ideology, and we're not going to allow this shit. This homosexuality in our primary schools, you're promoting homosexuality.
Chirima Parents Primary School, where we are standing, is a school that I built in 1994. It is followed by Nyamirama Parents Primary School, which I built in the year 2000, followed by Nyakabungo Parents Primary School, 2003, Rutenga Parents Primary School, 2003, Great Lakes High School, 2006, and Great Lakes Regional University, 2004. I own these properties, and we got a problem. A group of members of staff, one Honest Wilkins in Atukwasa and one Elian Nyamishana, talked to a group in the UK who are trying to introduce homosexuality to my schools. And they wrote an email to say the government of Uganda is opposing homosexuality, but we have given sponsorship for children. We direct that you write a policy to say that homosexuality is to be promoted in chief court schools. And I told them to get lost. I told Karen Senate, you can never do that. I told whoever proposed that. So they played a trick and connived with staff who you can see standing there. And they promised them that since they are Bazungu and I have worked with the Bazungu, therefore they will take away my enterprise and give it to them. So they bribed the police and got us out of the institutions and staged a defense. But I own these projects. I own the land. I control the board. I own the training licenses, and the schools are now set to open.
Welcome back to CBS This Morning. Pope Francis has stirred up a long-standing issue inside the Roman Catholic Church: how to treat same-sex couples. In a new documentary, the Pope says gay couples should be allowed to legally join together in civil unions. Seth Doan is outside Vatican City, where that statement is getting some pushback this morning. Good morning to you, Seth. The Pope's got everybody talking. This sounds like a big deal.
Good morning to you, Gail. Yes, indeed, it is a big deal and a real departure from his predecessors. This is the first time we've ever heard a Pope support same-sex civil unions.
This is a man.
The revelations came in a documentary about Francis's papacy. In it, Francis said homosexuals have a right to be part of the family. They're children of God. What we have to create is a civil union law. That way, they are legally covered. It's a shift from what the church has been saying. This official document from 2003 opposes gay unions because they obscure basic moral values and cause a devaluation of marriage. Conservative Catholics often criticize this pope, saying he sows confusion. And Bishop Thomas Tobin of Providence, Rhode Island, noted the pope's statement clearly contradicts what has been long-standing teaching.
You have to remember, this is not a pope who's a homophobe.
Father Thomas Reese is a senior analyst with Religion News Service.
Looking at church teachings, what does this change for the church?
Really doesn't change church teaching at all. What it changes is the church attitude towards civil law. And what the Pope is saying is, just like we don't oppose civil laws allowing divorce and remarriage, he doesn't oppose civil unions that would allow gay couples. In fact, he supports it because he feels that their rights need to be protected.
He'd supported civil unions back when he was Bishop of Buenos Aires as an alternative to gay marriage, which he has always opposed. Still, Melinda Anders of Massachusetts, who is married to a woman and has 3 kids, appreciates this Pope's softening of stance toward gays and lesbians.
They're making progress towards inclusivity, it means the world to me because I am a Catholic.
LGBTQ Catholics within the church say this sends a real message to countries, places where there are still laws against gay people, places where gay people can be discriminated against or killed. Tony?
I'm just like this because I'm a transgender person.
At the end of the day, do you get attracted to women or male guys? That is the biggest question. So with you, which people do you get attracted to?
I get attracted to men because I'm a transgender person. But I'm a transgender woman.
That means you have your private parts are for a male person.
Yes, it is. But deep inside me, I feel I'm a woman. Most of the things in me are for women. Despite the biological part, I feel I'm a woman. That's why I'm a transgender person.
Man, I'm confused. Have you ever been in touch, you know? Ngorina no mukazi, and then you feel like there is that attraction. Has it ever happened in your life?
Listen, if I would sleep with a woman, I would be a lesbian. Because I believe I'm a woman, and that's it, I'm a woman. So I sleep with men because I'm not homosexual. No, I'm not gay.
You're confusing me here.
Okay, I'm not gay. I don't get attracted to women. I believe if I get attracted to women, I'll be a lesbian. So I'm not. I'm a transgender woman who sleeps with men.
Boss, how do you make love or how do you have sex?
Okay, like me, I'm confused with Ugandans. You know, every time they talk about gay people, lesbians, they think about sex. But this thing is not all about sex. First of all, it's all about love. Before you go to sex.
Boss, love cannot be there.
Listen, I'm explaining to you.
Okay.
Some of us are not so much really into sex. Yes, we have sex, but first of all, you have to consider love. You understand? And when you talk about kids, I don't know why Africans are so much interested in kids. Everything's not about you having children. There are heterosexual families who are barren and don't have children, then they're okay. And they have to adopt. Me falling in love with a fellow man, like the way you people label us, it's not about having children and what. It's about doing what I feel and being happy.
But
I'm happy that way, and I'm born that way.
I'm just imagining a fellow man comes, you're attracted to him, and that's having sex part. I have my some of my guys.
I know where you're going. You're talking about anal sex, yes?
Yes.
They are heterosexual people who have anal sex. You know that. We're advocating for lubricants. We're advocating for condoms. We're advocating for lubricants because people think it's only the LGBT people using the lubricants. But let me tell you something. People use lubricants. People in heterosexual relationships use lubricants because they do anal sex. You understand? Sex workers on the streets use anal sex because they're sleeping with women clients and they need that biological part to be waterly so that they can do their work. We're advocating for lubricants and condoms because even other people are using.
I'm a biological woman that medically transitioned to appear like a male through synthetic hormones and surgery. I will never be a man. Is it transphobic for me to tell the truth? Why is it that a couple hundred years from now, if you dug up my body, they're gonna go, yeah, that was a woman, had babies.
Can you tell me about the procedures that you had?
I've had 7 surgeries. I've had 1 stress heart attack. I've had a helicopter life ride with a pulmonary embolism. I've had 17 rounds of antibiotics. I had 6 inches of hair on the inside of my urethra for 17 months. Nobody would help me, including the doctor that did this to me because I lost my insurance. I get infections every 3 to 4 months. I'm probably not going to live very long.
Was there any real discussion of the risks and the side effects?
No, there's not. And I know that people want to think that there is, but there's not. The truth is that medical transition is experimental. We have studies that said that medical transition helps mental health with kids. They've all been retracted, modified, changed. But the only long-term study tells us 7 to 10 years is when transgender people are the most suicidal.
After?
After surgery. But that's transphobic to say. For the first time in history, a marginalized group has a huge dollar sign on the top of their head. We have 5 children's hospitals in the United States promoting that.
What?
That's a phalloplasty. That's a bottom surgery. We have 5 children's hospitals in the United States telling girls that they can be boys at $70,000 a pop in a surgery that has a 67% complication rate. That will kill me from infection, that I can't sue on. We're butchering a generation of children because nobody's willing to talk about anything. I have 3 kids. At the age that they're doing this to kids. I'm not transphobic. I love my kids, and I love other people's kids, and you should too. This is wrong.
Things I hate since I got on male hormones. 1, I can't cry. November Nyizencha, I can't cry. Like it can't let you cry. Like there is something stuck inside of you that doesn't let you cry. I wasn't ready for that. It could be hair everywhere. I have hair on my thighs, my legs, everywhere. Hair that I wasn't used to. I wasn't prepared for that. 3, like obana obusungu bungi oba onyiga obeera n'olunaku olungi out of nowhere n'owulira obusungu for no reason kwegamba ebimu ku bintu byehatinze right now so far.
While we are giving due attention to female genital mutilation now, there are also Western cultures that are also cropping in. Why this is a violation of human rights? Some people think the other one is not a violation of human rights, but that is also violating our rights as Africans, but also as women. Who shall we marry if our boys go into homosexuality and lesbianship? How will society transit? How will families grow? Then what kind of dignity are we talking about? So as we sit into these conferences, we have to be very realistic to ourselves. Now, parents, this is a job that we must do. And it's the job that we're not going to delegate to others. Parents must speak openly to their children about these vices. Don't wait for a senga. These days, the aunties are also hired. And while they're hired, they also have other interests. There's not only commercial, but sometimes they may not wish you well. And they could also be agents of other organs and players.
Devout, born-again Christian mother sues her 4-year-old son's school in first case of its kind in the UK for making him take part in an LGBT parade. This lady is Izzy Montague, and as she is a devout Christian, she does not believe in celebration of any kind of sexual lifestyles. Izzy Montague received a letter from the school inviting her son to take part in a pride march, and the letter said that it celebrates the differences that make them and their family special. So Izzy got in contact with the school and asked if her son could be excused from the parade, not only because her Christian beliefs go against celebrating any kind of sexual lifestyle, but also because pride is considered to be the most dangerous of all of the sins. The school said no, her son could not be excused. Izzy Montague attended a meeting with the head teacher of the school, and the head teacher's daughter was wearing a t-shirt that said, "Why be racist, sexist, homophobic or transphobic when you could just be quiet?" Izzy had also expressed concerns about some of the reading material that her son was being given in class. One of those things was a same-sex family book. Now, in my opinion, this is absolutely disgusting. Not because it's LGBT, but because it's being pushed on children. The LGBT Pride Parade, March, event is a celebration of something sexual. And sexual things should not be pushed upon kids. End of. And if you think it's okay to push any kind of sexual agenda on children, then you are a groomer. You're grooming kids. It's important to mention also that at the time of this event, Izzy Montague's son was 4. Pushing this agenda on a 4-year-old child who doesn't even understand their own anatomy or how babies are made or what relationships are is absolutely disgusting. Now, can you imagine for a second if this was a Muslim parent saying, "I don't want my child to participate in this march. I don't agree with the whole LGBT thing. I'm a devout Muslim, I'm a conservative Muslim, and I don't think it's right." Would they have been forced, do you think? And if they had, can you imagine the uproar? Or imagine if it was the other way round. Kids were being forced to partake in a Christian march, celebrating the family, that sex should only be between a man and a woman whilst married. Can you imagine the uproar from the LGBT brigade? Let me know what you think.
Thank you very much. I give the floor now to Honorable Akelo to Uganda. 2 minutes and a half.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm the one who appointed Honorable Akelo, and she said that I should pass on her question, but she's not here. Mr. Chairman, our concern as the Uganda is on the process, which is always followed before making all these commitments. For example, on human rights, because some of us, we do want our societies to be considered when you're defining some of these aspects. For example, in Uganda, issues of LGBT and homosexuality, I can tell you, and abortion are issues that can never be accepted, and we shall not pass laws which we shall be around them. If people do want to be homosexuals or what, we don't have a problem. Let them go and have their life. But promotion of that in our country can never be accepted. And then when I heard someone saying that these are human rights which you must be respected, they are universal, I just want to assure you they can never. So what does it help for you to sign an agreement which we can never domesticate? If you went and talked to our ambassador, our minister, and you made resolutions, I'm the Deputy Speaker of Parliament. I can assure you the Parliament I lead will never pass laws that are going to be against our values. And I received one of the packs from Renew Europe, and they had written on values not for sale. African values can never be exchanged for European funding. That one can never. So I request that we define human rights so that we know the boundaries. Human rights, we don't involve issues of LGBT, we don't involve issues of abortion, because that is on the core of the African culture and society. I thank you.
Migration, I don't know for what, but the second one was about LGBT. Yes, that was the second. Don't avoid it.
The 138th Interparliamentary Union Summit closed Wednesday night with parting shots from Uganda's Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga. Drop legalizing homosexuality or we quit the union.
And we told you that if you insist, we are withdrawing. So if you are insisting on smuggling this issue, the Uganda delegation will not come to Argentina, and we shall withdraw from the IPU.
This was in response to the alleged smuggling of a motion legalizing homosexuality to the order paper by Gabriela Barroza, the President of the Union, much to the chagrin of African and Asian member countries. The smuggled motion enjoyed massive support from European legislators. Speaker Rebecca Kadaga and other African leaders were, however, not impressed with the European colleagues' move.
In St. Petersburg, this subject which you are avoiding came up, and we said we do not want a divisive issue to come to the plenary. We told you that this issue you want to bring has broken the Anglican Church.
Kadaga, flanked by the majority of the African leaders at the Geneva summit, warned that passing the motion will leave them with no option but to withdraw from the Interparliamentary Union. In December 2013, Kadaga presided over the local parliament's passing of the controversial anti-homosexuality bill. She called the bill's passing a Christmas gift for Ugandans. The law was, however, annulled by the Constitutional Court on a technicality. She said legalizing homosexuality had divided the Anglican Church, warning such divisions could easily crop up in the Interparliamentary Union.
Inclusive issue. But now you are bringing issues that are going to divide us. Then this matter should not come for discussion. And if our friends cannot get interpretation, we should not take away their right to participate in this meeting. Push it somewhere else, we don't want to listen to it.
This is the second time such is appearing on the order paper of the summit of the Interparliamentary Union, only to be shot down by African and Asian countries.
This is a report of the Committee on Democracy and Human Rights. Now they brought a resolution on migration, yet we had a full debate, a 4-day debate on migration, and we had first a declaration. So they brought that one, and then they cleverly tried to hide the LGBT issue as a second issue, but they don't want to come out.
There are so many countries that can say we are pulling out, and that's why we have defeated it, and we don't think it's going to even to surface in the next meeting.
The 138th IPU summit premised on the theme, strengthening the global regime for migrants and refugees, the need for evidence-based policy solutions, and closed Wednesday night.
We needed to stop this superiority complex nonsense about human rights. You think you are the only ones who respect human rights, or others it's about violating human rights. No, we've fought for human rights and freedoms of our people much better and more than anyone, including you people who keep talking about this nonsense. Where we have taken our country from and where it is now speaks for itself. The rest of the story just comes from this complex. You know, these two worlds where there are people who know everything about human rights and all kinds of things, and another world where people are just people who don't know. But these are our human rights. It's not, when we respect the things we respect in our countries, it's not for you, it's not for anybody else, it's for ourselves.
Is it not
so
a universal
you don't sit
right?
there, yes, it is universal, but you don't sit there. If it is universal and you believe it, then you don't become the judge yourself. You don't start telling the others what to do, what they should not to do, or that what they are doing is not to your satisfaction. Who are you?
Well, I'm not sure if we're talking about me personally.
Well, you are the one actually raising these questions. So I think you better interpret it properly so that it is well understood.
Okay.
I could see you are asking questions in a manner that you want to influence the ones listening to us. But that's not correct.
Okay. Yeah. I'm raising it once again in the context of the United Nations Development Goals.
No, United Nations is us. You see, United Nations is not something alien somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's actually us. We participate.
And the framework for this entire development.
And by the way, I had been leading the Millennium Development Goals before Sustainable Development Goals. I was the co-chair of that with other leaders and some of the leaders in Europe. So you don't turn around, it's like you want...
So you believe that there should be scrutiny on human rights in Europe, in Africa,
No, I believe that you shouldn't be there belittling Africans or leaders of Africa who are trying to...
Oh no, but the conversation about migration is a real conversation about human rights. So you believe that there are valid human rights concerns to be taken into account in this conversation?
Even in Europe, not in Africa.
Not in Africa?
In Europe. In Europe, not only in Africa.
What is attracting you in a man to a man?
even now I have not really fully understood it, that you can fail to be attracted to all these beautiful women here and elsewhere, and you are attracted by a man. That's a very serious matter. It means there's something really wrong with you.
Boys are boys from the beginning. If you were born a boy, you stay a boy. Girls are girls right from the start. If you were born a girl, you stay a girl and grow up to be a lady. Everybody's fancy, everybody's fine. Your body's fancy, and so is mine. Only girls can be the mommies. Only boys can be the daddies. Yes, sir.
Have you been blessed? Well, click on that notification bell so that every time we upload, you'll be the first one to know about it. Please share, comment, and subscribe. Let us know whatever you think about everything that we post. If you want to support our ministry, I just want to remind you that we don't go into the comment section asking people for money. You can find the information in our description box. And then also, you can visit us on our website, www.lifeisspiritual.org. If you want to support our foundation, we have a foundation where we do charity and take care of the orphans, the widows, and the elderly. If you want to support our foundation, you can visit us on our website, www.worldshare.com, for more information. And then also, you can support through our PayPal account that is running on the screen, SendWave or World Remit through the numbers that are running on the screen. And also, don't forget to get yourself some copies of our books. We have written books entitled Erica Part 1, 7 Years in Hell, Erica Part 2, 18 Years with Lucifer, Erica Part 3, Witchcraft and Spiritual Warfare, Erica Part 4, Death, Hell and Heaven, and The Truth About Money. All our books are available on Amazon, Kindle, and our website, www.lifeisspiritual.org. Both our websites have our books. You can access them. All our books are available on both our websites. For those of you that are in Kenya and would love to order books, you can contact us on those numbers on the screen. From Uganda, our books are available at Uganda Bookshop, Enjoy Bookshop, and Aristoc Bookshops. If you want to follow us on Facebook, we don't ask for money on platforms and avoid conmen, but our Facebook channels are Life is Spiritual and Erica Mukisa's Testimonies. Erica Belinda's ministry is no longer my page. It's a hacked page. May God bless you. Thank you so much, Mama Maisha.